Thank y'all. Thank y'all. The marathon continue. Victory lap tonight, though. Victory lap tonight.
Welcome to the One Talk podcast with Ryan McCarthy.
The marathon continues. That's what you would say.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the One Talk podcast. Here, your host, Ryan McCarthy. And today we are doing a solo episode. On my stories, I put up a photo of me getting baptized on my Instagram. And I said I'll be doing a podcast to be able to go into more details because I didn't feel like writing text on my stories would do it justice or even being able to explain it. I had a lot of people message me, which I'm very grateful for. I'm so grateful for the amount of people that support me and the amount of people that show love, especially for as long as I've been doing the One Talk page and the podcast. I've been getting so much support always, and people are always thanking me and trying to find ways to help. And I'm just very grateful for all of you. I don't think I could keep doing this if it wasn't for all of you. Literally, it's down to the community of people that why I continue to do what I do, because my purpose, my mission is to be making an impact in a positive way and for myself to keep learning and growing so I can attempt to make that positive impact in the world that I really want to make. So thank you all. And I appreciate all the messages, everyone saying thank you. Also, a lot of people were curious as well, wanting to know why I did it, what led me to it. And the reason why I wanted to do this podcast was literally to answer those questions and to also be able to share a bit of the journey behind the why behind it, because it kind of did seem like it was out of the blue for a lot of people that follow me, because my journey with God, my journey with Christianity, I didn't share it at all on my social media. The first bit of it that I shared was me getting baptized, which was a shock to a lot of people because no one knew. No one had the insight. But I want you to know I did that intentionally. I did that on purpose. I kept it private on purpose because I wanted my relationship and my connection with God to be pure. And I didn't want other people's beliefs and other people's values to infiltrate my journey and my connection with God. I wanted to be pure. I didn't want other people's beliefs to make me question my own. I didn't want other people's values. Yes, I'm open to discussion and conversation, but I really wanted to be able to go on this journey privately, do it myself. And then once I got to a point where I feel like I could openly share and have those conversations, once I understood it a lot more, that's when I wanted to become more public with it and share it with everyone. So yeah, the reason why I did it privately is because I really just wanted it to be me and my relationship with God. And we all have our own unique experiences with God, and whatever it is that we believe is the creator of the world, or whatever it is that we believe is the thing that gives us meaning in life. You know, we all have our own personalized, tailored relationship to that. So I really wanted it to be private. I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't worried of judgment. I wasn't worried of any of that. It was literally just because I wanted to build my relationship with God without the influence of other people. That was basically it. I wanted it to be personalized and for me. But there is a journey that got me to the point of baptism. As a lot of you would be aware, it's a big decision to make. It's a big choice, and it's one that I'm very proud of and glad that I did. I'm very proud that I made the choice. But I need to give some context before I give you the reasoning. Because growing up, I didn't grow up in a religious family. I didn't grow up knowing God. I didn't even grow up in a religious school. God was definitely not a topic that was discussed in my school at all. So throughout my life, I didn't know God, didn't know Jesus, didn't know Christianity. All I knew of God, religion, Christianity was some of the ideals that were pushed onto me. And it gave me, I wouldn't say a negative view towards it, but it gave me a view towards it that wasn't pure and wasn't it what its true intentions truly are. And that's also, why I wanted to do it privately, because I need to explore that for myself. So yeah, I didn't grow up religious. I didn't grow up with God. I wouldn't say that I didn't believe in God growing up. I just wasn't aware. I wasn't aware at all. So I just constantly lived life on my own terms and living for myself and doing things for myself. And what the turning point for me was, because usually when people find God, usually the story you hear, like people that haven't grown up in like religious families, usually the story you hear is that they found rock bottom, and then through rock bottom they found God, they found Jesus, and Jesus saved them. And you could say Jesus saved me, but it was in a different way, because I wasn't struggling when I found God, or when my relationship with God got formed. I wasn't struggling. I wasn't going for any trials or tribulations. If anything, I was at a really, really good spot in my life. And I feel like that's why God came to me. Well, let me explain how and when. So, over a year ago, I woke up one morning and I had a deep knowing God was real. Like, I literally woke up and I knew God was real. And this confused me a lot, because the night before, I didn't put any second thought to God. Growing up before that, I never put any second thought to God. I never gave, like, I didn't even think about it at all, like the concept of God, let alone building a relationship with Him. And then the shock to wake up one day and just deep in my heart knowing God's real was, at the time, like I said, there was a shock. And as I had that feeling and that knowing that I know God, I kept feeling like He was calling me. He was calling me towards something. He was calling me. And I kept getting like random bits of wisdom come to me. I was getting, I would say, verses coming to me. And I would search these verses that were coming to me, and I'd Google it, and it'd actually be a verse in the Bible. And I've never read the Bible in my life. So I was quite mind blown in how I'm receiving these messages about verses that I've never even read. And that was another piece of evidence for me that really was like, okay, wow, I need to look for a mentor in the space, or maybe not even a mentor, but I need to look for someone that I can speak to potentially be a soundboard to me. But mainly, I needed someone that could understand how I felt and just listen to me, because at the time, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was going crazy. Like, I didn't, because I had no friends that are religious. I had no one to go to. So I was like, I need to find someone that I can speak to, really normalize how I feel and be able to speak about it openly. So what I did was I called up my local church. And the way I found it was I went on Google, typed in churches near me, found one with the best Google reviews. And then I went on their website and I looked at all their values on the website. I look at all the work that they do. And I really respected their values. I really respected the work that they do. So I decided to call them. And I remember calling the church, and I was a bit nervous. I wouldn't say a bit, I was actually super nervous calling the church, because I've never even, I've probably been to a church once, and it wasn't for a religious practice. And when I called up, a lady answered, and I was like, may I please speak to the person in charge? Because I didn't know like the actual terminology of who I should speak to. I just said, hey, can I speak to the person in charge? I've been feeling this and this and this. And I was just wondering if someone had 5 minutes to listen to me. And then she goes, yes, the pastor's actually here right now. I'll get him on the phone for you. And then the pastor comes on the phone. I was like, please, can I have 5 minutes of your time? I just really need to speak to you about what I'm experiencing in life at the moment. And I just need you to hear me, or I want you to hear me. And I won't take up too much of your time. And he said, yes, please share what you need to share. He introduced himself, or who he is, and how this is a non-judgmental space and whatnot. So I started to explain to him what I said before about waking up knowing God was real, getting these messages from God, like just wisdom dropping into my mind. And he sat there and he just listened. He didn't try and convince me of anything. He didn't try and persuade me. He didn't even try and convince me to come to the church and start praising the Lord. He really just made me feel normal on what I felt. And that felt really nice. And then at the end of the conversation, I ended up taking like 30 minutes of his time. I was only meant to take up five, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I asked him at the end of the phone conversation. I was like, "Do you guys do like a church service?" And he's like, "Yeah, we do church services." I was like, "Oh, awesome. Is it on Sundays, isn't it?" He's like, "Yep, every Sunday at 9:30 a.m." And I sat there and I was like, 9:30 a.m. And I was like, "Can I come?" And he's like, "Of course you can come." I was like, "Awesome. Well, I'll be there at 9:30 on Sunday. I'm going to stick to my word." He's like, "Awesome." He goes, "I'll try and keep an eye out for you." He goes, "I'll probably recognize you, but if you want to try and find me when you get there, if not, I'll find you." I was like, "Awesome." So hung up the phone. I remember sitting there and it really made me feel good that what I was feeling and what I was experiencing was really being validated or not validated, but it just made me feel normal what I was feeling in that moment in time of confusion beforehand. And then leading up to going to the church on the Sunday, I was nervous because I was going to a place I've never been to, an environment I've never been in, surrounded by people that I've never really associated with. So I was super nervous just going there in the first place, mainly because it was the unknown. I didn't know what to expect, basically. But when I went there on the Sunday, I just remember as soon as I got there, everyone just welcomed me with open arms. Like it literally, when I walked into the church, it felt like I returned home. It honestly felt like I returned home, and just the energy that I felt, it was just like a knowing. I didn't need convincing. It was just a deep knowing, and that's when I knew that this is where God has brought me. God wanted me to come to this church, and I didn't know why at the time. I guess I'm still exploring that at the moment, but I just knew I had to be here at this time and to really observe the service, but also meet the people that I'm meant to meet with today. So anyway, end up finding the pastor. He ended up finding me. He goes, "You're Ryan, aren't you? I spoke to you on the phone." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And he goes, "Oh, it's so great to have you here." And he gives me like a token for a free coffee. He goes, "After the service, get yourself a free coffee. Feel free to speak to people. Come up to me if you need someone to like, lean on if you haven't really spoken to anyone, you feel a bit lost." And then he goes, "You can rather take a seat wherever you like, or I can introduce you to a bunch of people that are around your same age." I sat there and I was like, I felt very uncomfortable in, meeting strangers and at this certain point in time. Usually I'm really good at this, but I guess just because of this whole experience is so new to me, I was quite nervous. And I said, "You know what?" I was like, "Yes, introduce me. I'd like to, at least speak to people and get to know them." And I remember he introduced me to these three people who I'm good friends with now. And they just welcomed me with open arms. They showed me unconditional love. They guided me. They said, "Any questions you have, please ask them. Anyone you want to talk to, please speak to us." And it was the complete opposite of what I was expecting. I was expecting to get to church and I was expecting everyone to be pushy and pushing the message of God and pushing the word and pushing verses, but it was nothing like that at all. Everyone understood that God gave us free will. And without free will, we don't have love. And in that moment, I had the free will. I've always had my free will on this journey because I kept it private. But knowing when I went in this environment, I had no one there trying to push their ideas onto me, rather just accept me for who I am. I wanted to help guide me if I choose to do so. It just felt so heartwarming. It felt good. And it literally just felt like I said before, coming home, seeing your brothers and sisters, seeing your family, being in your own house. And from that moment on, I started to go to church every Sunday, or every Sunday that I've been around like this location where I live. If I haven't been away, I've been going to church every Sunday. And it's been something that I just love doing every Sunday, going there, worshiping God, going there for the community aspect as well, singing the songs, hearing the word, learning more, and just building that relationship with God. It's been such a beautiful journey going there every Sunday. And on top of that, I've also been going to Bible study every Wednesday. So on when it comes to knowledge on the Bible, I'm not the most knowledgeable person out there. I'm far from it, but I'm learning. I'm a student, and I go every Wednesday to Bible study and learn and study the Bible and learn verses and learn about different parts of the book, the different stories, the different teachings, and just truly understand it more so I can get more of an idea. And I go into Bible study every Wednesday. I go into church every Sunday. I pray to God every day. I started to think like I want to take this relationship to the next level with God. Like I really want to make a commitment. The thing for me that made me really realize that I wanted to continue my relationship with God was my praise. When I'd pray, I was seeing literally like miracles happen, like things that I thought were impossible. Some people may call them coincidences, but I don't believe in a coincidence because the things I was praying for, they were actually externally getting presented. And these weren't things where I'm praying for myself. I was praying for other people that I know in my life that needed maybe a certain resource or maybe needed a certain strength. So I prayed for that and I saw those things manifest overnight. And I saw those blessings and miracles happen overnight. And on top of that, just through my prayers with God and Jesus, I'd ask questions, like I'd get like frustrated or something. And I'd ask God, I'll give you an example. I'll be vulnerable here. So I was driving, I was actually driving to church, ironically. And at the time, I was really struggling with not feeling like I'm doing enough because I always want more in life. I want more success. I want more impact in the world. I want to spread more love. I want to do all the great things. We all have dreams and aspirations, but I feel like I've accomplished a lot within the last 5 years in terms of where my life was to where I am now. A lot of people that know my story would understand that I've been through a lot and the things I've overcame and the things that I've built are beautiful. And I'm so grateful that that has happened. But in my mind, I was always wanting more. I always want more. I always want more. And I was speaking with God in my car and I was like, I'm always wanting more. And the thing that came to me in that moment, one of them was, how can you get more if you're not grateful for what you have? Why would you receive more if you're not even going to be grateful for it? And I knew the concept of gratitude and being grateful for what we have. But in that moment, it struck me as soon as I was having those questions in my mind about wanting more and really sitting with that thought, it just hit me like a lightning bolt. And like it was like someone grabbed me and shook me. It's like, why would I give you more if you're not grateful for what you have? And I just sat there and I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right. All these things I aspire, all these things that I want to do in this world will happen. But I have to show the gratitude for what I have in the moment. I have to show love to what I have in the moment. Like if I want to grow flowers in my garden, it needs water and sun. I can't just give it sun every now and then, never give it water. It's going to dry out and die, right? It's like, no, you got to water it. You got to see the sun. You got to let the thing grow and you got to really nurture it. And I was like that with myself. If you want more in life, appreciate what you've got now and then build from that rather than getting so caught up looking in the future. They forget where you are right now. Because if you focus on making the impact in the future, what impact are you truly making right now? If you're thinking about the love that you want to give in the future, what love are you really giving right now? If you're thinking about the thing that you want to achieve in the future, what are you achieving right now? Like right now in this present moment, and it really hit me. It was just like a deep knowing from them, whereas like a light switch where my light bulb moment in my head where my light just went on. I just knew from there on that that was the answer. And I stopped struggling with that. I want more. And when I was getting answers, when I was receiving wisdom, when I was seeing miracles happen, I knew it was time for myself to take that next step with God, to continue that relationship with God. And a bit off track, but another thing that can link in, that does link in, shall I say, with God is that I see a lot of bad in the world, as we do through the media, through what gets pushed online, through what gets pushed through agendas, and what gets pushed through, you know, the things that attempt to influence us to program us to be a certain way aren't really there to be in our favor to benefit us as human beings. And when I think of God, I think of serving Him, I think of serving love, I think in serving the truth in the world, and to be able to show up in the world and encourage people through my relationship with God and to be able to make the world a better place. And the main thing that all comes from is just unconditional love for everyone, no matter someone's background, no matter someone's ethnicity, no matter someone's gender, no matter someone's race, no matter what someone's sexuality, no matter what it is, show up with unconditional love for that person. At the end of the day, they are a human. They are one of God's children as well. They are all our brothers and sisters, no matter who they are from any walk of life. Show unconditional love to that person and treat them as one of like treat them as you would want to treat yourself, or treat them as you treat your neighbor. And that's when it comes back to the community aspect, with church and seeing how supportive everyone is with for each other in the community. But the extension of that is to see the impact that they do externally as well in the name of God, in the name of Christ. It's really beautiful. It's really encouraging to see. And through my relationship with God, through reading the Bible, through going to church, through my beliefs, that's when I decided I wanted to get baptized. But then when I had the idea to get baptized, what happened? So my heart was telling me, let's get baptized. My head was telling me, maybe you shouldn't. And I was getting very confused with my head and my heart. So you could say the devil was attempting to for myself not to go with that relationship with God, with not to go with that connection with God. And he was in my head trying to confuse me, trying to influence me, attempt to do all these things. But my heart knew what it wanted to do. My heart knew what was the right choice. And I really had to step back on my heart and make that choice. So I decided to contact the pastor and I said, look, I'm getting baptized next Sunday. I want to make it happen. It's going to happen. The ball started getting rolling. Sunday came. I became baptized. And I know a lot of people may think of the question. So, how did you feel when you came out of the water submersion? If two words that can sum it up was just unconditional love. It was like that knowing feeling that I had when God first came in my life. Like it was just that knowing. It was that knowing that I've done the right thing and I'm living good. And it was just, yeah, it was a beautiful moment. I'm very grateful that I did it. I had my fiance there as well. She was there to watch, and the whole church was there. And it was really like a celebration of my faith. It was a celebration of my beliefs, and it was such a cool thing, and it was such a fun thing. But it was such a loving thing, a heartwarming thing, and to see how everyone was there and supportive, and it was just yeah, it was a really heartwarming moment for me. And I don't sit here and think I wish God was in my life sooner. When I say that, I don't mean he's never been in my life. I do believe God has guided me every step from birth. But what I mean is, I don't sit here and think and regret that I didn't come to God sooner or I didn't become aware of God sooner. Because I believe everything has happened for an exact reason. Everything has happened on purpose. Because the experiences I've been through has given me the wisdom to share a message that may reach people that other people can't. We all have our own unique stories. We all have our own unique experiences. We all have our own unique relationships. And I think that's what's important in life, to share that wisdom with other people and to really encourage people and empower people and spread love to as many people as possible and try and touch their hearts and show them the way is such a beautiful thing. And for me, my job isn't to convince anyone to believe in Christianity. My job isn't to convince anyone to believe in God. My job isn't to convince anyone to believe in Jesus. For me, I just want to be an example of what following my heart is, and that's it. Because my relationship with God is my relationship with God, and I just want to be an example of that. I want to be an example of the good, and in saying that, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, but those mistakes are going to make me better. Those mistakes are going to strengthen me. It's like I said, I'm not perfect, but I will take every day as an opportunity to grow, to learn. And on the opportunity of learn and growing, you're not going to have the answers. You're not going to know it all. You're going to say the wrong thing. You may even, sorry, you may even do the wrong thing. But as long as I learn from that, I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to continue to surround myself with good people, continue spreading love into the world. I'm going to continue with church, continue with Bible study, continue to learn and just try and become the best man I can be for this world. I'm going to become the best man I can be to show up in this world and be a light for others. That's what I want to be. I really just want to impact hearts. I really want to impact souls. And I really want to inspire the people around me. And I really just want everyone to live a great life. And I'm going to attempt to do that as best as I can. The main thing that's changed for me since getting baptized is I feel a greater strength against sin. Like I have that accountability, which is awesome because I know God's always watching. I'm going to do my best. And with this podcast, with One Talk, with everything that I do, you're going to continue seeing this journey. I'm going to be public about it. I'm going to voice my word and speak how I feel and speak from the heart and just be honest and true and authentic. And I'm going to attempt to be all those things. But through this podcast and through One Talk, I'm just going to keep on doing what I do. But yeah, be more honest, be more vulnerable, open up more, share me more, share my story, what I do. I'm really grateful that you all tune in. I'm really grateful that you all listen in every week. I'm grateful for everyone's support. It never goes unnoticed, everyone's support. It's one of the things that fuels me. But from here on out, let's all be the change in the world. Because we all want to change the world, or we all have an idea to change the world. But if we can be the change, and then the ripple effect on that to the people around us, our environments are going to be beautiful. So let's grow, let's love, let's live.